If you've ever wanted to get back at someone who disrespected the people who deserve our respect the most, this story will hit deep. Hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this is one petty revenge that burned brighter than any campfire. This happened just a few days ago. I was in the checkout lanes of my local grocery store. Nothing fancy. It was a typical weekday crowd, parents rushing through after work, teenagers grabbing snacks, and a couple of elderly folks in the priority lane. You know, the one marked clearly for senior citizens and PWDs, people with disabilities. That priority lane even had little plastic benches set up so older customers could sit while waiting for their turn. And on that day, a few elderly people were seated there, chatting quietly, holding on to their little baskets with the patience only grandparents seem to have. And then, he walked in. The guy had that walk. You know the one. The kind that screams entitlement. Tall, early 30s maybe, baseball cap turned backward, talking loudly on his phone like he owned the place. Shopping cart loaded with gear, sleeping bag, paper plates, snacks, instant noodles, even a tiny camping stove. And right at the top, a single can of butane gas. That'll matter later. Now, instead of walking to the back of the line like literally everyone else, he sauntered right up to the register at the priority lane and cut in front of every single elderly person sitting quietly in line. Didn't even look at them. Just stood there. At first, I thought, maybe he didn't see the sign. Maybe he was new. Confused. So I leaned over, nice and polite, and said, "Hey, they're already in line." He didn't even turn his head. Didn't acknowledge the seniors. Didn't acknowledge me. He just shrugged, still staring at his phone, and said, "I don't see them standing in line though." That smug tone. That dismissiveness. Like he had found some technical loophole in morality. And the elderly people? They just shifted uncomfortably. No one spoke up. Probably used to this kind of behavior. Probably tired of it. And me? I shut up. But inside, I simmered. I watched him closely. Every word he said. Every item in his cart. He was still yapping on the phone, half laughing, not even noticing the awkwardness his presence had created. And that's when I noticed it, the butane. Just one small can. And suddenly, an idea began to form. You see, this guy's cart was practically screaming, camping trip. He had marshmallows, packaged meat, paper cups. All the signs pointed to a night under the stars. And without that little silver can, no fire, no heat, no hot food, just cold coffee and disappointment. So, I waited. Waited until we were just a few feet from the checkout. Waited until he turned to grab something off a shelf and kept yapping into his phone, barely even watching his own cart. And then, I acted. In one smooth, casual motion, I leaned slightly over and plucked the butane out of his cart. Didn't run. Didn't hide. Just dropped it into mine, cool as you like. He didn't even blink. He finished his call, pushed his cart forward, and unloaded everything onto the conveyor belt, unaware that his entire meal plan was about to implode. Meanwhile, I paid for my own items, including his precious fuel can. And then, with the most neutral face I could muster, I walked out into the parking lot, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Justice. Somewhere out there, this man arrived at his campsite. Probably bragged about how fast he got through checkout. Probably laughed about beating the system. Maybe even told his friends about how clever he was. But when he pulled out that little camping stove, opened the lid, started setting things up, he would have reached for that butane can and realized it was gone. No gas, no heat, no cooked food, just instant noodles and a reality check. He might never know who took that butane, but I hope, deep down, he knows why. Because sometimes, the world needs a little push to remind people. You don't get to step on others without stumbling yourself. Especially when those others have earned our respect. If that revenge hit just right, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the most deliciously petty revenge you've ever pulled off or witnessed? And for more true stories of karma served hot, or in this case, not hot, subscribe and stick around. Because revenge, it's a dish best served cold, like crunchy camping noodles.